blind, have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hi there. This is Jane Kearns, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the, there's just one here. Interesting. December 26th to January the 2nd volume of the Tribune Sentinel Dispatch on Grand Island, and we are covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Service. And we have here, some of this is going to be past tense, but it was talking about making spirits bright, and that there were a lot of the Niagara County Noel at New York offers light displays, and of course that's gone now, so that's out of here. So we'll get on then to the news. Coldwater Big Impact. Olcott Polar Bear Swim opens fundraising for every New York Olcott Polar Bear Swim opens fundraising to every Western New York nonprofit. Okay, now I finally got that right. 57th Annual Olcott Polar Bear Swim set for Sunday, March the 1st. This is a press release. As fundraising becomes increasingly challenging for Western New York nonprofits, the Olcott Polar Bear Swim, New York State's oldest continually operated charity swim, is expanding its mission. This year, swim introduces One Plunge, Countless Causes, end quote, initiative inviting every registered Western New York nonprofit and charitable cause, especially those without major brand recognition, to fundraise, gain visibility, and rally supporters through one high-energy community event to create an annual celebration of the work done by volunteers and the causes each year. Held Sunday, March the 1st, 2026, the Olcott Polar Bear Swim will transform from a single benefit fundraiser into a shared platform for community giving, allowing nonprofits to recruit an individual, team, or community member leader to plunge on their behalf and turn excitement into impact. Many nonprofits are doing critical work without the attention or resources they deserve, said Aaron Day, D-E-Y, swim chair for the Olcott Lions. One Plunge, Countless Causes gives every organization a simple, fun, and proven way to raise funds and tell their story, while strengthening a community tradition that benefits us all. Oh, it's a huge HUGE, capital letters, costume party and contest, so dress the part. The initiative is designed to grow participation in the swim while creating a practical, accessible fundraising opportunity for nonprofits across the region. For more information or to get involved, visit the Polar Swim, all one word, noahcaps.org. Lewiston. Salada provides update on cameras. Jacob B. Mark's final town board session by Terry Duffy, Editor-in-Chief. Lewiston Police Department Chief Mike Salada informed the town board of the purpose of new roadside monitoring cameras being installed by the Niagara County Sheriff's Office on 4 right-of-ways. Regarding the cameras, this is a quote, I wanted to clarify some things through this information going around, he said at the town board meeting. First off, they're owned by the, in parentheses, NCSO, end quote, Company Insurance Department, but we will have access to them, and they're sharing it with local law enforcement. They are not shared to the state law with any federal agency or with any federal agencies, end quote. They don't track speed, Salada continued. They power watch and stop sign/stop lights, simply a plate reader that is used for investigative purposes. We've seen a lot of successes with that over the years. The one on 2nd Street, some of the ones that are in surrounding neighborhoods." End quote. Zalata said a plate reader assisted LPD last weekend with an illegal dumping complaint involving a vehicle on Porter Center Road. "We were able to identify the car and get the license plate off the plate reader in the Falls." End quote. He noted the cameras are not used in any vehicle/traffic enforcement by LPD or other agencies. He said the NCSO camera system was employed as part of the recent law enforcement investigation into Brown University shooting. "They're very good for investigative purposes. We're not using them to issue citations or anything like that," he said. Also, at that same meeting, a public hearing was held to consider local law number 3 of 2025. The law establishes a 6-month moratorium on the processing of applications and approvals for mobile home parks, cemeteries, and campgrounds by the town of Lewiston. The intent is to provide adequate time for the board and town officials to research and adopt new laws to more efficiently regulate applications for such uses within the municipality. The hearing saw no comments by visitors. Local law number 3 went on to be approved later in the session by a 4-0 vote. There were no comments by Supervisor Steve Broderick or attending board members. Councilwoman Sarah Weckler was absent due to a death in her family. Another bullet. Broderick announced the appointment of outgoing town clerk Amy Smith as his confidential secretary for 2026 and Natalie Safridi as the town's new payroll specialist. Both appointments were approved and take effect as of January the 1st, 2026. Broderick said they will join him and newly elected town clerk Tamara Burns and Councilman Bill Berg, along with re-elected Councilman Rob Morial, for swearing-in ceremonies January the 1st at Town Hall. Another bullet. Councilman John Jacoby announced Aaron Lilly, a 20-year member of the Lewiston Police Department and Fire Company member, submitted a letter of resignation effective December the 31st, citing personal reasons. Town board members accepted his letter with regret. Another bullet. The meeting closed with Jacoby acknowledging his final session on the town board. He has served on the town board since 2017. I thank my fellow board members and supervisor, all the people who work in the police office, the building department. You've been more than kind. You've always treated me more like a friend than a board member, and I appreciate this, Jacob C. said, end quote. Broderick said Jacoby got dragged into this by Rob Morial. He missed a meeting and they volunteered him. To his surprise, he won. He's been on the board for 8 years, and we have a makeup of 3 Republicans, Broderick, Morial, Jason Myers, and 2 Democrats, Jacoby Watcher. We have always gotten along. Unlike other parts of this country, we've always gotten along. We've always tried to do what's best for the town of Lewiston, and I want to thank John for that. John was always available to talk about issues and work through them like adults should, and I really appreciate it. Jacoby is a retired member of the Niagara Falls Fire Department. He provided 33 years of service. In the news, Porter announced 2026 Hometown Heroes banner program. The town of Porter announced applications are now being accepted for 2026 Hometown Heroes, quote unquote, banner program. Now in its 3rd year, the town's military banners honor service members in the northern Niagara community. Measuring 66 by 30 inches in size, I imagine it costs more than that, the banner features dual-sided images of the service member and are constructed of durable vinyl. The banners appear on utility poles throughout the town. The banners will cost the family/sponsor $210 for the 2026 season. Cost includes the banner manufacture, installation, related hardware, plus related maintenance and storage costs by the town. We're happy again to offer this program for our veterans, said John Duffy Johnson, Johnston, town supervisor. He said the town had more than 140 banners on utility poles in Youngstown and Ransomville last year. The application period continues to March the 31st. For more information or to obtain an application, stop by Porter Town Hall or visit the town's website at https://www.townofporternewyork.gov. Upcoming Lewiston Porter Board of Education meetings are here listed. January the 12th, 2026, all of these are 2026, work session / budget workshop / regular board meeting. January 26th, regular board meeting. February the 9th, work session / budget workshop meeting. February 23rd, regular board meeting. March 9th, work session / workshop meeting. And March 23rd, regular board meeting. All meetings commence at 6 p.m. and are open to the public, and a cordial invitation is extended to all interested citizens. Board member meetings are held at the Community Resource Center, Boardroom, Lewiston Porter, CSD, 4061 Creek Road, Youngstown, New York, 14174. And here is a little hint for us. Real Help for Your Health, presented by Dr. Glenda R. Rose, chiropractor. Prevent holiday weight gain. Here are some tips, which should be good for any time, I should imagine. Keep a food journal to stay in control of what you are eating and help you make a better decision. Bring healthy dish with better ingredients that you can eat so you can avoid or at least eat less of the high sugar and white flour goodies. Another is eat good fats first. Olives, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, and nuts will help you feel full and stimulate your metabolism. Another one is take a walk after the meal and before the dessert. It gets you away from the food and helps support your digestion and metabolism. The physical activity will also help lower your blood sugar and insulin. In the spirit of the season, we are offering our readers the opportunity to come in for an initial chiropractic or nutrition response testing. Evaluation and consultation is our gift to you from December the 26th to the 31st. Find out how we can help outreach your health goals for the new year. Call 716-754-9039 for an appointment. She's located, Rose Chiropractic. PC is located at 435 Bridge Street in Lewiston. Give us a call. Wishing you and yours a happy, healthy holiday, naturally. Okay, nice tips on that. Oh, this is kind of fun. The winners announced in the annual Lewiston Sentinel Tops Coloring Contest. Children and families gathered Saturday at D. Minio's Lewiston Tops for a celebration honoring this year's Lewiston Sentinel Holiday Coloring Contest winners. The awards include 4 to 6. First place, Marlo Rose K. Second, Lenny S. Third, Louis F. Fourth, Vera P. Age 7 to 9. First place, Oliver M. Second, Mia J. Third place, Dominic M. Fourth, Violet K. Ages 10 to 12. First place was Audrey B. Second place, Emily B. Third place, Brian K. Fourth place, Rose P. The coloring contest was sponsored by D. Minio's Lewiston Tops, which supplied the prizes. Thank you all for participating. The photos were done by Wayne Peters and submitted. Grand Island, here's another one, coloring contest. Congratulations to the following winners of the 2025 Grand Island Dispatch Coloring Contest. 4 to 6, first place, Natalie Dahl. Second place, Mina Paolucci. Third, Emerson Ayers. Fourth, Cole Greco. Fifth, River Romowick. 7-9, first place, Lila Stapleton. Second, Max Gravino. Third place, Stella Santos. And fourth place, Jackson Heroic, brother of River. Fifth place is Veronica Cassert. Ages 10 to 12, first place, Gracie Stapleton. Second, Mara Gravino. Third place, Audrey Hall. Fourth place, Kenzie Marble. Fifth place, Kyle Warzarniak. The following contest was sponsored by Tops Friendly Market, Grand Island, Niagara Hyundai, John's Pizza and Subs, Kelly's Country Store, and thank you all who entered. Happy holidays. Now, there is also McGuire Occasions by Osteria, support Grand Island Neighbors Foundation, submitted by the Grand Island Neighbors Foundation. The Grand Island Neighbors Foundation was a grateful recipient of $1,500 from the McGuire family of dealerships, which helped advance our Share the Happiness fundraising closer to our 2025 goal of $20,000. Pictured are some of the members. The Grand Island Foundation also was a grateful recipient of 500 pounds of potatoes from the New Occasions by Austria catering business on Whitehaven Road in the former Knights of Columbus building. Thank you to Nick Patelio and Ed Gerbaki, the owners of the Occasions by Austria, for their generous donation. The Neighbors Foundation, an all-volunteer organization, used the generous gift of potatoes to supplement the donated food that was provided to over 100 Grand Island families as part of our annual holiday distribution at the Grand Island High School on Thursday, December the 11th. The Neighbors Foundation, an all-volunteer organization, will use the donated funds to provide confidential food assistance to our neighbors on Grand Island, especially during the holiday season when need is the greatest. To learn more about Neighbors Foundation, donate, or to request assistance, call us at 716-775-7998 or visit www.gineighbors.org. Neighbors Helping Neighbors. This is written by David Conboy, President, Neighbors Foundation on Grand Island. Northwest Bank supports Share Your Happiness campaign. Northwest Bank recently presented a $500 donation to the Neighbors Foundation in support of the Share the Happiness campaign. This contribution helps move the Neighbors Foundation closer to its $20,000 holiday fundraising goal, providing critical support for Grand Island neighbors through January and beyond. Pictured from the left is Brooke Jaricki, Lorraine Licata, and Noel Lipine of Northwest Bank, and Sally Goris, treasurer of the Neighbors Foundation. Dispatch. This is an ad by the Dispatch, which has been in business since 1944. Extra, extra, Dispatch subscribers. Did you know you're entitled to free announcements, engagements, $50 value, weddings, $50 value, birth, $50 value, obituaries, $125 value, no word limit, /photo restriction. Anniversary, $50 value. Plus, you also receive home delivery, 4 free classified ads, including garage sales, $13.50 value per listing. Offers apply to existing Dispatch subscribers only. That seems very generous. Okay. Town of Grand Island sued over warehouse law by Karen Carr Keefe, senior contributing writer. Grand Island, that was once earmarked for an Amazon distribution center, is now in the hands of the Seneca Nation, and the town is facing a lawsuit alleging its warehouse law violates the property rights of the land's donor, Aquest Development. The town's local law number 2, which was okayed this August, limits the size of buildings allowed in commercial zones to 350,000 square feet, and it rules out distribution centers altogether. Aquest originally planned a 1.65 million square foot distribution center on the 207-acre site west of the Thruway between Long and Bedell Roads at 2780 Long Road. The land currently has multiple zoning designations, with the eastern 141 acres closest to the I-90 currently zoned for industrial uses, and the western 66 acres currently zoned for residential. The named plaintiff is Grand Island Commerce Center joint venture. On its behalf, attorneys Rupp Falsgraf LLC has brought this action to recover what it deems, quote, just compensation for the town of Grand Island's unconstitutional destruction of the plaintiff's long-approved industrial development and the town's retention and use of a multi-million-dollar sanitary sewer infrastructure that plaintiff was required to design, fund, and construct, end quote. Aquest attorney Jonathan Cantil said the lawsuit seeks monetary compensation that could reach more than $40 million for what Aquest alleges is the town's deliberate attempt to rezone the land to stop its development. The site approving previous Aquest plans between 1991 and 2013. The plaintiff's contention is that the town new zoning law, excuse me, I need a Kleenex. The plaintiff's contention is that the town's new zoning law deprived Aquest of the right to develop a parcel and consequently generate revenue. In concert with that, the lawsuit seeks compensation for the cost to prepare the land for commercial use and to comply with state environmental regulations and review, among other expenses. In the lawsuit, Aquest claims the town warehouse law was aimed at one target only, Aquest's own plan to develop the Long Road parcel. Grand Island town attorney Daniel Spitzer, partner with Hodson Russ, commented on the lawsuit, quote, the town intends to vigorously defend the lawsuit, end quote. He said, the developer has owned the property in the town for some 35 years and has never even applied for a building permit. The town is not a guarantor of any developer's right. There's no contract guaranteeing a certain right to develop. In fact, such a contract would be illegal under New York state law, and we don't believe that the town is responsible when he loses his tenant to a more competitive developer from another community. The fact is that he has not answered the questions of our professionals to allow environmental review to be completed, and we're not going to short circuit an important process for him, end quote. The town supervisor, Peter Marston, who is a lone dissenting vote on the local law too, on Monday talked about how that law came to be. Quote, the town has long been arguing with the fact that how big is too big and how do we control this and things of that nature. So my perspective is probably a lot different than the rest of the boards, he said. I really don't want to speak for them, but we are concerned about the overdevelopment and creating a situation where any business or any entity or a property has excessive impact to the surrounding community. That was probably the premise for why the town board worked on this and the majority adopted it, end quote. Land transfer. On Saturday, the Seneca Nation announced William and Michael Huntress, owners of the Aquest development, are transferring title to the 207 acres of land to the nation for $1. Michael Huntress was quoted in a press release as saying, quote, we are happy to have donated this land to the Seneca Nation, the rightful owners of Grand Island. We believe it's the right thing to do, end quote. Seneca Nation President John Conrad Seneca thanked the Aquest owners, quote, for generously helping us create a path for a new growth for our nation, end quote, in that same press release. Marston said that as to the effect of the Seneca Nation owning the land, it's way too early to tell. We have not had any conversations with them. We don't know their intentions or what they would like to do. When they're ready, they'll tell us what they're interested in, and we'll work from there. The council member, Jose Garcia, said that the Seneca Nation gaining the said of the Seneca Nation gaining the parcel. They're another landowner, and I look forward to meeting with them and working with, and hopefully they decide to develop something that's wonderful for our community. Spitzer said, as to the Senecas, we have not heard from them, we welcome them to our community, and we look forward to working with them. While Seneca looks at what he terms potential economic development opportunities that would best meet the long-term needs of the nation, the prior owners seek a remedy for what they consider a lost opportunity due to town actions. Seeking compensation. Among other town actions for which compensation is sought is requiring Aquest to design, build, and pay for a sewer district that ultimately couldn't have used unless it had been allowed to develop the land, Cantil said. Aquest completed the sewer district at its expense and was accepted by the town in 2020. Two other facilities now use the sewer district, Holiday Inn Express and Islechem. The law states, quote, by 2025, the plaintiff's sewer infrastructure already serves neighboring properties, including a hotel industrial facility with cumulative total square footage of approximately 160,900 square feet. Therefore, the business campus provision aggregates those properties with the plaintiff's parcel, thereby reducing the plaintiff's permissible building area to roughly 189,100 square feet, and further depriving the plaintiff of practically all economically viable use of its property. Cantil filed the complaint December the 18th in U.S. court, challenging zoning law on Grand Island that the lawsuit claimed had been deliberately engineered to block a single property, the Aquest parcel. We can't change the law midstream and erase somebody's property rights. The town rewrote the rules, stopped one property, and that's unconstitutional, said Cantil, partner in the Rupp Falsgraff's Buffalo office. In its summary, the lawsuit claims the town of Grand Island engaged in misuse of zoning and environmental regulatory powers to defeat a project it had long encouraged and repeatedly approved, end quote. Cantil added, in November 2020, Aquest submitted a proposal to reduce the square footage of its planned distribution center from 1.6 million square feet to 1.33 million square feet. The lawsuit cites the new plan involved, quote, significantly smaller environmental impact than previously approved site plans, end quote. Yet, it says, Aquest had to undertake the expense of another SEQRA review. History. The warehouse issue has been a hot one since 2020. That's when Amazon walked away from its proposal to build a 3.8 million square foot warehouse on Grand Island amid resident criticism over potential traffic jams, environmental impact, and perceived threats to the island's quality of life. Once Aquest's development of Amherst proposed a 1.1 million square foot facility at the same site, the issue heated up again. At town board meetings, residents have pushed back against mega warehouses in general, and that one in particular. The town has walked a tightrope since 2023, trying to set restrictions that would be fair to both developers and residents. Erie County came out against the previous version of Grand Island's proposed zoning changes in March 7th, 2024. Unlike residents who said the proposed zoning restrictions didn't go far enough, the county said the town had gone too far by reducing the allowable maximum square footage. In doing so, Grand Island risked losing out on attracting and keeping businesses that bring jobs and tax revenue, the county said. A 5-story, 3.1 million square foot Amazon distribution center is nearing completion at 8995 Lockport Road in the town of Niagara. It's expected to bring 1,000 jobs to Niagara County. That is the end of that history. Grand Island Lions marks season with charitable outreach. Submitted by Grand Island Lions Club. The annual Grand Island Lions Christmas party was held at the Buffalo Launch Club and was well attended by Lions and their significant others. The festivities included a visit by Western New York Lion District Governor Jeremy Schur of North Tonawanda. During the celebration, the Schur inducted the Lions' newest members, Richard Fitzgerald and Bonnie Fitzgerald. Both new members were sponsored by Lion Ann Fawning, who proudly pinned both with their official lion pins as part of the induction ceremony. Bullet, the Grand Island Lions Club is pleased to announce the sponsorship of its second community clothing shed, owned and serviced by St. Pauli Textile Inc. of Farmington. The newly installed shed is located in the parking lot of William Kegelbein Elementary School at the corner of Love Road and Beaver Island Parkway. Proceeds generated from this shed will support Lions' many charitable and humanitarian activities. New location complements the Lions' original clothing shed, which remains in operation on the grounds of the Grand Island Middle School in Ransom Road. Together with both sheds contribute to the club's ongoing fundraising efforts. The Lions are currently accepting donations of clothing and household textiles, including clothing, belts, purses, blankets, sheets, curtains, pillowcases, and stuffed animals. No exceptions, please. All items must be placed in plastic bags. Funds raised through the clothing sheds are used to support local charitable programs and, when possible, to leverage matching grants, maximizing the Lions' ability to serve the community and help make a positive difference in both locally and beyond. Okay. Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center appoints Perry Sham as CFO. Niagara Falls Memorial Center press release. Niagara Falls Memorial Center is pleased to announce the appointment of Perry Sham as its new Chief Financial Officer. Sham brings nearly 2 decades of experience in healthcare, finance, consulting, and performance improvement to his role, positioning Memorial for growth, financial strength, and growth. Most recently, Sham served as Executive Vice President and CFO of Nassau Healthcare Corporation, where he led a financial turnaround that improved operating margins by more than $100 million and strengthened the organization's cash position. He previously held senior leadership roles at the Marwood Group and the Nexera Consulting, an overseeing national project that delivered hundreds of millions in financial improvements for hospitals and healthcare systems. Graduate of Baruch College, City University of New York, Sham has advised providers, private equity sponsors, and health systems on revenue cycle optimization, mergers and acquisitions, and strategic cost reductions. He also serves as an international Fulbright specialist in healthcare operations and has lectured at Cornell University's Sloan Program in Health Administration. We are thrilled to welcome Perry to our leadership team, said Joseph Ruffalo, President and CEO of NFMMC. His proven expertise in financial strategy and healthcare operations will be instrumental in advancing Memorial's mission of delivering exceptional care while ensuring long-term sustainability for our community hospital. As CFO, Sham oversees NFMMC's financial operations and strategy, guiding the hospital's continued commitment to patient-centered care and community health. Univera Healthcare selects Niagara Falls Memorial for Health Equity Innovation Award. Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center has been selected as a recipient of the 2025 Health Equity Innovation Award from Univera Healthcare. This annual funding opportunity supports nonprofit organizations working to eliminate health disparities and improve health outcomes in Western New York. The award will help fund an initiative that will promptly identify pregnant women in Memorial's emergency department and rapidly deploy a perinatal crisis coach to the ED to provide emotional and physical support to women undergoing pregnancy crisis. Pregnant individuals, many of whom are low income, will be connected to obstetrical care, mental health services, social supports, doulas, and grief counseling. The program was chosen for its innovative approach, strong community engagement, and alignment with the goal of advancing health equity. The Health Equity Innovation Awards reflect Univera's Healthcare's commitment to improving the community health by investing in programs that promote equity, expand access to care, and support unserved populations. populations. We're honored to receive this award and grateful for the opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of those we serve, said Joseph A. Ruffalo, President and CEO of Niagara Falls Memorial. This funding will allow us to further enhance our women's health service for Niagara County women. For more information about Niagara Falls Memorial and, quote, Hope for Every Mother Ending Inequities in Pregnancy, end quote, initiative, contact Eileen Kineke, Kineke, at nfmmc.org. Let's see what else is here. Okay. I might not have time to read all this, but I'll start. Hollywood comes, Joshua Maloney's Year in Entertainment Interviews. Hollywood comes to Buffalo. Behind the Screens with Joshua Maloney. When you live and work just north of Buffalo, it's not always easy connecting with Hollywood talent. Most press junkets are held in larger cities, New York City, Los Angeles, or Chicago, for example. And the vast majority of on-screen productions are staged in places like Atlanta, Manhattan, Vancouver. Interviews then are almost always by phone or via Zoom. That was until 2025, the year Christmas came to town. And by Christmas, I, of course, mean Hallmark Channel, television's top network for all things sleigh bell jingling and ring-ting-tingling too, filmed all or part of 3 Countdown to Christmas features in Western New York, utilizing people, nature, businesses and buildings in Buffalo, Orchard Park, and Youngstown, among other places. The highlight, of course, was a holiday touchdown, A Little Love Story, Bill's Love Story, set and centered on Buffalo Bills and Bill's Mafia. Not to be outdone, The Great American Family set a handful of movies in this area as well, with some produced by Saved by the Bell star and Access Hollywood/Access Daily host Mario Lopez. The Buffalo Niagara Film Office Commissioner Tim Clark called this past year a big production boom. We went through decades of not being much shot here of significance, any big stuff, and now we're seeing it all the time, he said. What I would say is that most of it has to do with the New York State Film Tax Credit Program, which was one of the more lucrative ones in the country right now. There's an extra bump to go upstate, which is working like a charm. I can tell you firsthand that this is really working. It's driving a lot of business here. And then the added thing, of course, is that when they get here, they see all the location assets that we have, whether it's something old or something modern. We really have architecture from almost every period in American history in our communities here. It's something, I think, that they didn't expect. They go to these places a lot of times just chasing the money or chasing incentives. But when they get here, they realize that there's so much more to it than Buffalo, in Buffalo. And when I say Buffalo, I mean Niagara Falls, I mean Lockport, I mean Chautauqua County. It's really all of Western New York, and it's touched all of it, really. Beyond the tax credit, Clark says the production companies are attracted to the welcoming spirit of the people here. I think that's always something that's a bonus. That's almost unexpected. What happens often in bigger cities, especially like Hollywood or Los Angeles, or even New York City, there's a lot of production fatigue. People are sick of big movie trucks in their neighborhood, lights, closing streets, and things like that. Here, people will get excited about it. They try to get a glimpse, maybe a movie star or something. It's different. So they get much more welcoming experience. We say that Buffalo is a city of good neighbors, and I would say that extends to the region. All of Western New York is really a place of good neighbors, but it's not just like some bumper sticker or whatever. It's a real way of life here. I think it's very authentic, and it's that kind of authenticity that you don't see in LA or New York or Atlanta or New Orleans or some of the other traditional production centers. When they get here, they realize, wow, this is pretty cool. The year in celebrity interviews. On screen, Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story, stars Holland Roden, Matthew Daddario, Tracy Pullen, Patty Murin, Steve Schreiber, Caroline Aaron, Danielle Mara, Vanessa Morano, and Andrew Walker, and from the Buffalo Bills, Jim Kelly, Reed Ferguson, and Dawkins. From the articles, as the Buffalo Bills were making a run for a Super Bowl championship last season, another team was in the town looking to claim a television title. Unbeknownst to the people of Western New York, a Hallmark media team visited Orchard Park during the holidays to see if the City of Good Neighbors was a good candidate for Countdown to Christmas of 2025. You can know about the Bills, but unless you're really a fan, the meaning that this team is to everybody, you don't know it until you see it firsthand, actor and scriptwriter Vanessa Morano said. Director Dustin Reichert said, "I've been to a lot of professional sporting events, but I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like how the Bills fans are on game day." He added, "It really is a city of good neighbors. It's really true. It's true with the crews, it's true with the businesses that we deal with, and the people that we deal with. I think it's one of the friendliest communities I've ever come in contact with and helped produce and direct a movie with." That says a lot about how people are raised here and the kind of culture they come from, end quote. Though, this is the next little bit, though no tables were broken, the Aurora Theater could have doubled for NFL's Highmark Stadium, inside the historic film room and popcorn shop. It took less than 10 seconds for cheers to erupt as Bar Bill, Bill's Mafia, chicken wings, and football were projected on the large screen. Immediately, patrons fell in love with holiday touchdown of Bill's love story. Such was the movie crew's goal. When the filmmakers and cast came to Orchard Park in East Aurora last summer, they sought to craft a love letter to Buffalo, a desire stemming from previous interactions with the local fans. Just like Josh Allen at the goal line, those filmmakers scored in a big way. They masterfully captured the uncommon passion, frustration, and camaraderie unique to Bills fans. Matthew Daddario said, I quote, "I think that this film really is for Buffalo in a lot of ways. It's for the fans of the Bills. I think that what we're focusing on while we're here is to look at the people of Buffalo and show them that we made this movie for them. I want to see them enjoy this film. I hope they like it. I hope they feel like it celebrates their city," end quote. To find a full list of top celebrity interviews of 2025, online at www.westernnewyorkpapers.com. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Island history fascinates high school history buffs. Article and photo by Alice Gerard, senior contributing writer. Women face a complicated process in the 19th century when they got dressed in the morning. Grand Island High School sophomores Gabby Grisanti and Shukmani Carr, who served as docents in the second-floor bedroom of the recent Christmas open house at River Lee, were there to describe the process as well as to talk about the rest of the displays in the room. I think the whole dressing thing is really interesting to me because how many layers they had to wear, Gabby said. I also think how many hat boxes are in here is crazy to me. There are so many. Nowadays, you don't see people wearing big fancy hats. You don't really see much of that now. For women to get dressed, they would start off by putting their stockings on. Then they would put on their boots, then which were interchangeable. They would alternate them, left boot, right foot, boot. That way, the boots would wear evenly. So in other words, they weren't sized. That's interesting. Then they would put on their bloomers, which were their undergarments. Then they would put on their cages, which would hold the skirts up. The front of it would have nothing there, so it wouldn't fly up in their faces. In the back, there would be a bump out so that they could put a cushion over their backside so that they would look a little bigger. They would also wear corsets. They would make them very tight and make their waists look thinner. Sometimes they'd even break ribs. After all that, they'd put their blouses on, they'd put their skirts on, and then that would be their typical get-up. Sukumani said she was fascinated by the small bed and the 2 embroidered samplers in the room. "I like this little bed," she said. "It's a cool piece of history that was preserved. I like how it was a way to treat their guests. It was a really cool innovation for the time." As well, it could fit through any door frame. Sukmani also pointed out the age of the samplers, and of course, these being from 1850 and 1823, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Both Gabby and Sukmani talked about how they chose to volunteer as docents in the Grand Island Historical Society. I saw a date for the Victorian morning thing. It was in my email, Sukmani said. I didn't really want to come alone. I wasn't really sure about how the atmosphere, so I told my friend about it. I got involved in this because I came here with my friend for a Victorian morning event to learn about this history, Gabby said. And then Miss Maggie Gushu asked us if we were interested in volunteering, and now we're here. I like it a lot because you get to be involved in your community. You get to learn history. I think it's fascinating that this whole building was owned by the cousin of a president at one point. If you're volunteering, you get to learn in depth about one room and specific, and rather than a vague overview of all of them. The first owner was of Riverlea was W. Cleveland Allen, son of Lewis F. Allen, for whom Allentown in Buffalo is named. He owned Allentown Farms on Grand Island, and his nephew, who became President Grover Cleveland, worked for him, maintaining the farm records. Sukmani said she enjoyed her experience as a docent at Riverlea. I'm a huge history nerd. I love it here. If I could live here my entire life, I would. Gabby said she was happy just getting to be here, getting to serve my community, and learning a little bit of history. Okay, second. This is an M&T Bank release. Rogers named Senior Vice President, PR Manager for M&T Bank, Western New York and Upstate. Kyle Rogers was named Senior Vice President, Public Relations Manager for M&T Bank's Western New York and Upstate regions. Rogers will succeed Thea Precht, who was promoted to the role of Head of Western New York Strategic Initiatives in the Office of Regional President, and Chief Administrative Officer Tracy Woodrow. Before joining M&T, Rogers worked at Highmark Health, where he led corporate communication strategies for a $29 billion healthcare company across its New York market. He possesses over 12 years of experience guiding one of the healthcare brand, Blue Cross Blue Shield, through a pandemic, multiple hospital and labor contract negotiations, and Highmark's affiliation with Health Now New York, Inc. At M&T, Rogers will serve as a spokesperson and oversee all external communications and public media relations for the bank's Western New York and Upstate regions. This includes 180 branch locations surrounding Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, Albany, Watertown, and Elmira and Binghamton. Sounds like a big job. Lewiston citizens pay tribute to Tuscaroras on the 212th anniversary of attack. On December the 19th, a group of Lewiston citizens gathered to thank the Tuscarora Nation for saving the lives of early settlers who were attacked by British forces during the War of 1812. It was the 212th anniversary of the attack that occurred in 1813, when the Tuscarora heroes intervened and brought about enough time for the local residents to escape and flee down Ridge Road. A brief ceremony took place at the Tuscarora Heroes Monument at Portage Road and Center Street, and included speakers Rocco Del Grosso, who was the contractor for the monument platform, Neil Patterson Sr., who represented the Tuscarora Council and is direct descendant of one of the Tuscarora heroes, and volunteer Lee Simonson, project director, who briefly described the Tuscaroras' involvement in the American Revolution. He believes that had the Tuscaroras and the Oneidas not been present at the Battle of Oriskany, there would have been a good chance the Americans would have lost the revolution. The Tuscarora alliance with the American militia at that moment was crucial to the Americans keeping Fort Stanwix in Rome, New York, which in turn prevented needed supplies and reinforcements from getting to the British General Burgoyne. Subsequently, Burgoyne lost the Battle of Saratoga, which convinced the French to join the American cause. Without the French alliance, most historians believe America would have had only a 10% chance of victory. Patterson presented a strawberry ornament to the Lewiston Museum curator Tom Collister, which symbolized Iroquois culture. Strawberries were the first crop of the season and provided the Iroquois medicinal therapies. Patterson also stood with Molly Robinson, who was a descendant of one of the survivors of the attack. A fellowship breakfast was held immediately afterwards at Syros. Let's see, is there anything? NEMAC thanks federal delegation for support of NDAA funding at NIFARS. The Niagara Military Affairs Council, NIMAC, extends its sincere gratitude to the Western New York federal delegation for its strong support of recently passed National Defense Authority Act, which includes $554 million in authorized funding for a Combined Operations Alert Facility (COAF) at the Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station (NFARS). As a multi-year military construction project, $16 million has been appropriated to date, with additional funding to be secured in future fiscal years. NEMAC looks forward to continuing work closely with the federal delegation to ensure full funding is achieved so this crucial project can move forward to execution. The COAF is a long-standing priority for the installation and will significantly enhance mission readiness and operational efficiency for the U.S. Air Force Reserve at NIFARS. The project has been many years in development and represents culmination of sustained collaboration amongst the federal, state, and local stakeholders. This funding reflects the confidence our elected leaders have in the strategic value of Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station and the mission it supports, says Michael Zimmerman of the NAMAC. We are grateful for the continued advocacy and partnership that has made this milestone possible. NEMAC also wishes to thank New York State and the municipalities throughout Western New York that have consistently supported the Council's advocacy efforts for more than 30 years. NEMAC has worked on behalf of the Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station, helping to secure hundreds of millions of dollars in federal investment that strengthen national defense and support service members and their families and drive economic impact across the region. Last thing, and then this book, this magazine's finished. Not magazine, newspaper. Lewiston Community Lions volunteer for Salvation Army. Submitted. Lewiston Community Lions Club members volunteered with the Salvation Army of Niagara Falls during the Red Kettle campaign at Dominio's Lewiston Tops. The club values partnering with other organizations for the betterment of our community, the event organizer and Lion Rob Nichols said. We're fortunate to have an active partnership with the Salvation Army of Niagara Falls that extends well beyond the Christmas and holiday season. Lion Regina Ciccone said, "We are a small club with a flexible mission that allows us to support both individuals and organizations, sometimes providing volunteer hours as exactly what is needed. Those interested in joining the Lewiston Lions Club can message the group through its Facebook page or email the Lewiston Community Lions." That's, I guess that's it, the whole thing. It's a sentence. The Lewiston Community Lions at gmail.com. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from December the 26th to Friday, January the 2nd of 2026. Issues of the Tribune/Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island. We read from the Tribune and Sentinel every Saturday at 4 p.m. on your dial. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway, have a very good day. And your reader has been Jane Kearns. And thank you for listening. And have a very good weekend.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty. And at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their dashes tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. Or dashes tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on dashes tapes for radio reading? Call us at 716-821-5555, and thanks for caring. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
All right, good morning. This is George Collins, and for the next hour, I will be reading from current issues of the Lockport Union Sun and Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. In the Tuesday, January 13th edition, headline reads, "Collaboration is..."
The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,